So are you one that kind of self-sabotages and you want to know, how do I self-improve? How do I quit maybe making things that are not helping me get to where I want to go and get to the goal that I have set for myself? Today we're going to talk about that. Today we're going to talk about what are some of the things that we do that hinders our goals, that hinders ourselves from moving forward, from getting the life and career of our dreams. My name is Kelly, and this is Everyday Executive. I'm a nurse to CEO, and my mission is to help you get the life and career of your dreams. So one thing that is the best news about this is you have control. You have the decision to actually change this, because self-sabotage is sometimes things that we don't even realize that we're doing. We don't even realize that some of these maybe small things are hindering us or becoming a barrier for us to get the self-improvement we're looking for. But you have control over this. It's a decision. It's a decision you have. So the first thing that I hear people talk about is productivity. Basically not having the time and not being productive in the things that really matter. And the word that I kind of use and others have used is, do we get her done? Do we just get her done? And so one of the ways that can help you is, have you written down what you really want to get done? Writing it down does kind of change your mindset. It really focuses you into what's important to you. And so write the goal down. Write the goal down in a smart way. And we have videos that talk about this if you want to talk about smart goals. So write it down in a way that's going to be so concrete that you really have decided, yep, this is the goal I'm setting. What's then next? It's not just about writing it down. You have to identify the barriers that are getting in that way. And sometimes maybe it's easy, right, to say, well, it's everybody else's fault that's getting in the way, or the weather is preventing me from exercising, or work is preventing me from doing what I need to do, or this meeting I had to eat the lunch that this meeting provided, whatever that looks like. What is the barriers? Now, most of these things you have control over. It's really easy for us to think it's always something else, but when you really break it down into what is the one habit that you can change today, and what is the one barrier that's getting in the way of that you have control over, it really does change your focus and changes how you go about that, how you tackle that issue. If weather is in the way, you can't change the weather, right? But you can change perhaps what time you wake up. You can change working out, if working out is a weather issue, into inside. What do you need to do indoors to prevent that weather issue? I often have meetings, and so some food is often provided. I know that, we've talked about this in the past, that for me to keep my calorie intake the way I want to keep it, I have to bring my salad. So I bring it. If it's a meeting that you're allowed to do that, I bring my salad. If I'm at a restaurant, I look at the menu sometimes ahead of time and I'll order something that fits within my goals. Or sometimes I just get a drink and I don't actually eat at that meeting because I'm choosing to eat either before or after. I'm choosing to eat my salad that day. So while we often think we're not in control of some circumstances, we actually do have control in changing our environment for many, many things. So find the one barrier, and I actually would argue this is probably more of the success that people will see, is if you identify the barriers, not just your goals, but your barriers that are getting away, and what's one thing you're going to change to be more productive and get that barrier out of your way. Think about too, we talk about this often, productivity, how much are we doing other things? And I've talked about this before, that aren't progressing our goals. How often are we watching television? How often are we on social media? That's not improving us, I guess. How often are we on just our electronics? And so if that's a barrier, maybe start setting a timer. If that is something you're finding yourself kind of mindlessly doing things, set a timer that I'm going to do it for this amount of time. Because I think going cold turkey isn't always the answer either. I talked about small habits of change actually will get you further ahead than doing things kind of big bang or all in, if you will. we burn out. It's not sustainable. It's not life. It's not what I would want to do. If somebody told me that I'm going to have, like I said, salads every day for the rest of my life, I would be like, no. But can I do it 3 to 5 days a week? Yeah, I could probably do that. If somebody told me I can't have sweets, I'd be like, yeah, that's not going to happen, because you start to crave those things, right? But I can have sweets in moderation. I can have things that I enjoy in moderation. So think about that, about doing small habits that progress over time, because you have the control and the decision making to make that happen. I've also talked about habit stacking. Those small habits, again, they kind of accumulate. And as you make those changes and you start hardwiring those changes, those habits stack, but make it so small that you can't help but achieve it. Another way to be more productive, we talk about the small habits of change that make it so small and so easy, you can't help to achieve it. The other way to do that is to tackle the hardest issue first. So in other words, if you have a list of to-dos or a list of goals that you want to do, and you do the easy ones first, sometimes that works because you get momentum. We've talked about this, to get them all done. But the opposite can be true. You could have that last, maybe hardest item still left to do on your to-do list, and you're like, oh, I got all the easy ones done. I don't want to get that one done. So maybe reverse it. Get the hardest one done first, kind of swallow that big one, and then the other ones, when you're done, you're feeling so accomplished, really seem easy, and you can also get the motivation going. I've done both ways. If I find something that I really don't want to do, I sometimes have done that first. But when I want to make behavior changes to stop the self-sabotaging, the small habits seem to work better. So it really just depends on you and where you're at and what you're trying to improve. Learn how to create positive vibes and to take criticism. So self-sabotage, sometimes we're our own worst critic, right? Which is different than somebody being really proactive, trying to help you by giving you tips and trying to improve you and giving you options to look at. So don't take self-sabotage or criticism as somebody sabotaging you. Sometimes it can be, and you're going to have to weigh about, is this something that's helping me? Are they doing it with intention to help me? Or is it something that's a barrier that maybe I need to remove? But changing the mindset will change your energy and will change what attracts to you and will change from negativity to positivity. It's the universal law of attraction, right? It's literally science. It's literally quantum physics, and that everything is energy. It's literally according to the law of attraction, and it's literally science and quantum physics that the kind of thoughts and attitude that you have attracts that same attitude and energy. So if you have a positive energy, if you have a positive flow, you're attracting events and energy back to that. If on the reverse side, if you have a negative energy, or you're always, talking in the negative and thinking in the negative, or dare I say, thinking maybe in a victim way, you're going to attract negative. You're going to attract negative energy and negative events. Again, it's literally quantum physics in that everything has energy with a certain frequency or a certain vibration. So if you think happy, positive thoughts, you will attract happy thoughts and happy circumstances. And then the reverse is true. So really think about changing that mindset. So how do we do that? If we're kind of in a negative way of thinking, how do we change it? First of all, acknowledging that we do that is the first step. We need to acknowledge and really take a step back, saying, okay, am I doing negative thoughts? And believe me, I do this often as well. And I have to sometimes stop myself and say, okay, I need to change that thought into a positive. And it's okay to make mistakes. Where it's not okay, it's absolutely okay to make mistakes because we learn and we grow. Where it's not okay is when we dwell on it, when we become the victim, when we start thinking everything's happening to us no matter what we do. That is a victim level of thinking, because as we talked about, almost everything that we're trying to improve ourselves, we can find something to control. We can find something that we have the decision to overcome by identifying those barriers. Talk to yourself like you would a friend. We're all, like I said, we talked about with self-sabotage, we're sometimes our own worst critic. So talk to ourselves the way we would talk to a friend, and really think about that and how we change our mindset and our thoughts as well. Think about, will this really matter 5 years from now? whatever happened, whatever things that we're talking about that we're worried about, will it really matter 5 years from now? And then on the reverse of that, what will matter 5 years from now? So there's two ways to look at it. What will matter to me 5 years from now? And think about that in what do we need to improve versus dwelling on things that won't matter 5 years from now. Smile more. Look, these small habits change are if you're really not used to thinking in a positive way, just start with smiling more. Surround yourself with the positive energy. Surround yourself with people that make you feel good, that make you a better person, and that will also help the energy flow. Reward yourself. Make sure you're taking the time to reward yourself. If you are making small habits a change, maybe it's you go get your nails done, you get a massage, you buy a new golf club, whatever it looks like for you to reward yourself, because that will also help you motivate you to continue down that same path and to stop self-sabotaging yourself and to start self-improving yourself with that positive energy. Again, it's a choice. It's a mindset. It's a decision. It's one we all have to do every day, but it can be done. Give back. Giving back, and it doesn't always have to be with money. Giving back could be with your time, with your experience, with, being a mentor. We're all good at something, right? We all have strengths. So think about how can you give back, and you will find that also changes your mindset and is rewarding at the same time and can continue that positive energy. Take care of your physical, your emotional, and your spiritual health. Talking about health, you need to if health is a goal and you're sabotaging yourself on your health, get steps in. Walk everywhere. Meaning my kids get annoyed because when I'm at a store, I park at the farthest parking spot possible. And we walk. And sometimes, they get annoyed because the weather could be bad. And we could say, oh, the weather's bad today, we're not going to do it. But really, is that a real barrier? Can we walk in the weather? Does it really matter if we're walking an extra, end of parking lot versus the beginning of the parking lot? Probably not. We're out in the weather anyway. But it is something that we tell ourselves, right? It is something that we tell ourselves. And the good thing is if you have snow on the ground, you're burning a few extra calories. But get steps in where you can. Take the stairs always. Start with little things. Take the farthest bathroom if you're at a work. Find the farthest bathroom in your company building and take that. You'll find doing those small things does add up over time. Drink lots of water. I am a coffee drinker. We've talked about this, but by this afternoon, I drink water from the remainder of the afternoon into the evening. I drink water exclusively. I like certain water mugs. So find what works for you. If you're finding you're not a water drinker, you can do things like add fruit for flavor and things like that. But if you really, sometimes just changing the bottle or the mug that you're drinking out of actually will help you drink more. Maybe you like a straw. Maybe you like it cold. Maybe you like it room temperature. Personally, I like it room temperature because I get cold when I drink a lot of cold beverages all afternoon and evening. So if that's a problem for you, do room temperature water. But sometimes people like the motivational jugs that have exactly written where you're at. Find what mug or glass will work for you to drink more water. Added benefit, if you have water laying around, especially if you already fill up the water bottles, and that tends to be what I do, your kids will drink it more too because it's readily available. So that's an added benefit. Not only are you getting more water, but your kids will start getting more water too. Getting back on track, especially after a vacation or a holiday, that is a common question I get asked as well. And again, I've talked about this in other videos, so feel free to take a look at that. But getting back on track isn't about going all in. If you were eating, and we just got done with the holidays, if you were eating a lot of sugary sweets and different holiday foods, to expect yourself to go cold turkey probably isn't realistic. It's not something that I would want to do anyway. So take a week to just make one small habit change again, and you still maybe add in a sweet a day. Take the next week and just start eliminating or changing your decision making as you go. Going cold turkey may not help you keep those decisions. It might be a barrier actually. So go back to writing it down and finding one thing you can control to change. Get more sleep. sleep really does make an impact on our decisions. When we're tired, we don't make as good of decisions. I know I find that in myself, that it's harder to go exercise when you're tired. You may want something to more sugary health thing to pick you up. Maybe you don't make good career choices when you're tired. Maybe you snap at people more during the day, and so you're not having the positive energy that we talked about. Sleep can impact all of that. So really think about how much sleep are you getting and make some decisions to change the habits that you are with your sleep pattern. And I'm a nurse, as we talked about. I'm a CEO now. Make your annual health appointment. I would be remiss not to mention this. So make your annual wellness appointment, dental appointment, and eye appointment. We have nothing without our health. And so we have the decision choices to make those appointments. If insurance is an issue for you, there are programs that can help you. Again, write down those barriers and find a solution to help, because most of the time there are, and it's in our control. So with that, hopefully these were some tips to help you stop self-sabotaging and get into a self-improvement. Please comment below, what would be another example of what you would like to see, or how do you self-sabotage? But more importantly, what's a solution to help you self-improve that? If you like this, please give me a like or subscribe. It really helps the algorithm push my channel out to others, and we will talk soon.